we had to bump this segment yesterday, but it's a worthwhile segment, a segment I think we should do.
Okay.
So we're going to do it.
Sure.
Buy or sell. We've got 5 statements now that we are 6 weeks into the football season in Texas. 5 statements that we're going to revisit, and I'm going to tell you if I'm buying or selling them. You can tell me if you are buying or selling them. We can have a conversation about it.
Okay.
Buy means, yes, I think that's going to happen.
Okay.
Sell means, no, I don't think it's going to happen. So, Max, let's get on with the first one for buy or sell.
All right, number 1, Texas A&M will win 10 games.
10 games. So, obviously, everyone is very bullish on Texas A&M.
Yep, they're the hot SEC team right now.
Top 10 team. This is and they're off to a great start because of their defense. Things are going great. And I'll tell you, not to spoil my college football picks for Friday for free money.
Okay.
They're going to kill South Carolina.
Probably.
South Carolina is real bad. Like, I would, to the point that I would honestly be stunned if South Carolina scored more than 10 points.
Okay.
Because their offense is trash and Texas A&M's defense is great. But you start looking at the schedule. And so what you're saying, in a sense, is if they're going to win 10 games, are there 3 losses on their schedule?
Right.
Can we agree that at Alabama we have to assume is a loss?
Yes.
Okay. Can we agree at this point that home to Ole Miss is a loss?
Yes.
I think so too.
I think Ole Miss is overrated too.
I think they are too. But I also think
push comes to shove.
Yes, I would right now. I would pick Ole Miss to beat Texas A&M at home.
It's closer. I will say it's closer now.
Yes, I agree.
Than it was for me 5 weeks ago.
So now that basically leaves 3 games. All due respect to New Mexico State and UTSA, they're going to win those 2 games. That comes down to 3 teams, 3 games. 2 weeks from now against, or a week and like 9 days from now against Tennessee at home. Okay, I think
they'll win.
I think
sucks.
I think A&M will win. I think Tennessee's pretty overrated. And hey, stunner, Tennessee's overrated.
Yeah.
Like they have been every single year. There's that. At Mississippi State, that's an interesting one.
They'll win that.
On the road,
Mississippi State's garbage.
I don't think Mississippi State's very good, but A&M has not performed particularly well on the road.
I don't think they have to. I don't think they have to beat Mississippi State.
So then that comes down to 1 game.
Yeah.
Which has all of a sudden become a lot more intriguing. It's LSU on Thanksgiving night.
Right. And who knows, right?
LSU, on one hand, LSU has always had A&M's number. Right. That is the one team they can't beat.
Yeah.
Home, away, neutral site, anywhere, A&M cannot beat LSU.
To be fair, for half of that, the defensive coordinator was on the other side of the game.
Correct. On the other hand, they just fired their head coach, Les Miles.
Yep.
And I also think they are reeling a little bit.
A little bit.
That this is a team that thought they were going to be better, and all of a sudden they are not.
Yeah.
So there's those 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
But we have this conversation off air. Does LSU firing Les Miles increase their chances to beat A&M?
Are they run better by Ed Orgeron than Les Miles?
It's entirely possible this is the spark they need. Maybe it is.
Right.
Right now, I just think too many things would have to go right for A&M to win 10 games, so I'm going to sell it. But I reserve the right to change my mind. I'm going to sell it.
I would love it if they did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they won 10 games, that'd be awesome. It would be a lot of fun to cover. I look at the schedule now, and I just don't.
And the other thing is, this is really an indication of, I think, how down the SEC is this year.
Sure.
A&M, I think, is pretty good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think they're a top 10 team.
I don't know. Honestly, I look across the landscape, though, and I think they are because I just don't think in general there are a lot of great teams this year.
Maybe, but do you think they're a great team? I think they're a really good team. I don't think they're
I just think there's probably like 5 or 6 great teams, and then like from there you can just sort of sort out, units one by one.
So are we both selling?
We're selling, but I don't feel awesome about it.
All right. Yeah. What's next?
Going down to the San Antonio area. A San Antonio team will win a state title.
I
know your answer to this.
Which is what?
Oh, you're buying this.
I'm buying
You're
this.
high on steel right now.
I'm buying this.
You're high on steel.
I'm buying this.
Yeah.
I'm buying this for a couple of reasons. One, I think that there are 2 teams that are of state championship caliber squads. I think Cibolo Steel and Converse Judson are both state championship caliber squads. Now, last week we found out, I think, that Cibolo Steel is pretty clearly better than Converse Judson. They would be the best team in San Antonio. But the question now becomes, who is, who's going to get there to a state championship game?
Yeah.
You got to go through Region 4. I will also tell you that I think Steele has potentially a much easier draw.
Division 2.
Yes. They may have to go through Westlake, depending on where Westlake goes. Mm-hmm. But other than that, they wouldn't have to see them until, I believe, a regional final. I think that's right.
Sounds right.
Maybe.
Depends on how that district shakes out, obviously.
And then they would have to go through Region 3, the winner of Region 3. And there's a couple of interesting squads, but the majority of the great teams in Region 3 look like they're going to Division 2 or Division 1.
Yeah.
So you'd have to fight through Friendswood, a good team with a tremendous playmaker in Tyler Page, but maybe not.
Yeah.
George Ranch, championship pedigree, but I don't think they're as good as they were last year.
Yeah.
LaPorte, Cy Ridge, a couple of kind of teams that could up and nip somebody, but overall. And then you get to a title game. And if you're in a title game, to me, anything can happen. They'd probably have to go through someone like DeSoto or Cedar Hill or Carroll or San Angelo Central, maybe.
Right.
Or if you're from Region 2.
Could you imagine San Antonio team versus San Angelo Central? Those would be packed.
Or Region 2, Cedar Ridge, Westfield. Right now, I think you have to consider Steele at least a co-favorite with DeSoto to win a Division II state title.
Yeah.
As a result, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it because if you are able to narrow it down to a list of about 3 or 4 teams that could win a state title in 6A Division II, then you got a real shot. So I'm going to buy it. I'm going to say Cibolo Steele is a team. So I think it's San Antonio.
While I am very high on Cibolo Steele, and I agree with all your points, I am doing the odds game.
You're going to play the field.
I'm taking the field, man.
That's fine. That's acceptable. What's next?
Okay. This is a good one. At least 2 FBS coaches will leave their posts this year in Texas.
So here's my question.
Yes.
Are we including Jim Grobe in this?
No, it's too easy.
That's too easy, right? Because that's going to be one.
Yes.
Jim Grobe seems like he's doing a nice job at Baylor.
But they're clearly figuring out what the next phase is.
He is an interim coach, plain and simple.
Okay.
The question is, are there going to be 2 coaching changes?
Yes. Okay.
Who are the candidates to get changed? The candidates.
The hottest seat is Bailiff at this point, right?
The hottest seat to get fired is David Bailiff at Rice, and things are not looking great for him. No. Let's agree, UTSA, Texas State, North Texas, not changing coaches after 1 year.
Unless, for some reason, North Texas wins 7 games
Let's agree,
and Seth Luttrell gets a better offer, but yeah.
Let's agree Cliff Kingsbury's not going anywhere.
Okay.
Let's agree Chad Morris isn't going anywhere. Let's agree Gary Patterson's not going anywhere. Do you agree with any of these? Do you think Chad Morris might jump?
I'm not entirely convinced that Chad Morris will stay at SMU.
To me, this comes down...
Not that his job's in jeopardy.
Let's, for the sake of argument,
I think a lot of good jobs are going to open up, though.
Let's, for the sake of argument, say that we will have one coach get fired, because I do think it's trending that way with David Bailiff.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's assume, for the sake of this conversation,
Sure.
Okay. To me, there are 3 or 4 options that are going to come out of this. Charlie Strong gets fired.
Right.
I think that's the least likely.
Right.
I think that
at this point.
I think that right now Texas fans can see the trend. It's trending upward.
Right. But if they keep losing shootouts, that might not be true.
I think Sean Kugler at UTEP is a little bit of a name to watch. I think that they're going to stick with him.
Yeah.
That's my gut. I don't have any inside information. I get the feeling they'll stick with him. But that's something I think people forget about him. People forget that. I think that people may forget about him. That's one thing.
All right.
There is also the idea that somebody's going to come in and pluck one of the guys.
Sure.
And that's where the other one. That's where the other thing comes in. Does somebody come in and make a big offer to Chad Morris?
Yeah.
Does somebody come in and, let's be real, it's the elephant in the room. Does somebody come in and make a big offer to Tom Herman? I'm going to buy it. I think that there are going to be at least two coaching changes in the state, with the variety of those things coming together in some sort of order. That there will be changes. There will be at least 2 changes, not counting Baylor. So I think there will be 2 FBS coaching changes. I think I'm now starting to think that Tom Herman's going to go somewhere. I don't know why. I think that now that there have been a lot more big-time openings coming open, especially LSU. LSU just makes so much sense.
Here's why, though. Here's why I'm going to go against you. Number one, I do think he genuinely loves being at Houston.
I agree with
the
that
situation. Even if they don't go to the Big 12, I still think there's a decent chance he stays. Number 2, yes, LSU has opened up. Have you noticed what people are saying about who they're trying to get?
No.
they're putting out feelers for Urban Meyer and Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. And you know what? God bless you. But Tom Herman strikes me as the kind of guy who you either 100% want him and no one else, or we're not having the conversation.
I think you're right. He doesn't want to be somebody's second choice.
All due respect to those guys, and I know he has it for them. Mm-hmm. But Houston made a commitment to him. He is their number one guy, and they will do anything. They will move heaven and earth to keep him. The LSU thing strikes me as strange. I'm not saying that that's a deal breaker, but it does strike me as, we're going to talk to all these guys that we want before you, but you'll be our sixth choice. That doesn't strike me as the kind of situation Tom Herman's going to be thrilled about. Maybe I'm wrong.
I agree, but I do think that overall I will say that there are too many possibilities out there that I think there will be at least two that do come true.
So you're buying?
I'm buying.
Okay.
What's next?
2 state champions will repeat. Now, we've talked about this previously on the show. We have some data now.
I'm going to limit this to 11-man. So I'm going to even make this easier because I think
you're right. We included Richland Springs
because I think
year.
Richland Springs is a lock to repeat.
Yep.
Lock it up.
Yep.
They have looked so much like the best team in 6-man football, and they play in Division II, and I think they overmatch. The second best team I think right now is Happy, and Happy plays in Division I. So there's that. So we're going to count out 6-man.
Okay.
I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it because I think that there are now emerging challengers that can take down champions. Let's agree. Right now, we would not pick either of the 6A teams to repeat, right? North Shore and Katy?
Correct.
We would not pick them.
Right.
5A, George Ranch is not repeating because they already moved up.
Correct.
Cedar Park, maybe, but 5A's loaded.
5A is loaded. Yeah, and there are clear top-heavy favorites in both Division I and Division II.
4A, West Orange Stark, I think looks very good.
I think that if you're going to pick a team, they're one of them.
They're one of them.
That you feel pretty good about repeating.
They're one of them.
They've given up 2 points.
Correct, and it was a safety.
It was a safety.
A defensive safety, or it was.
They snapped it over the head.
It was a
out
special
of the
team
end zone. Yeah.
special team safety.
Yeah.
So it's not even a defensive. Their defense didn't give up 8 points. And then 4A Division I was Waco La Vega. I think 4A Division I's wide open.
It's wide open. I could see them do it, but you wouldn't put house money on it.
I would take the field. Yeah. Okay. 3A, you've got Brock. Okay. Possible.
They look good so far.
But there's a lot of other really good teams in 3A.
3A is interesting, but I like them. But their biggest challenger may end up being the team that moved up from 3A to Franklin.
Right. And then 3A Division II, I don't think Wascom's going to repeat.
Right.
They have looked
right. They look better, but they're obviously struggling to replace pieces.
2A Canadians probably not going to repeat.
Well, they went up to 3A.
They went up to 3A, and it's a lot tougher.
Yeah. Although the way that field's shaping out, they might.
But I don't think.
Might.
And then there's Bremont.
Right.
So the 2 heavy favorites, in my opinion, to repeat would be West Orange Stark and Bremont.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to sell it.
I think that's fair, and the
because
thing
the odds would be that it's not going to.
I think what's changed is when we talked about this last, it was probably a few months ago. I would have said Bremont far and away, my number one lock in 11-man football to repeat. West Orange Stark it cannot be understated how much they're dominating people. And the emergence of Ira Ann, they're good. They're really good.
Ira Ann's really good, and Ira Ann's the kind of team that their style could give them fits.
Right.
So I'm not saying Bremont's going to lose because I don't because I think that they still have to be the favorite, and it's the Ric Flair principle.
Sure.
But I do think that there are challengers to both. I think Gilmer is a big-time challenger to West Orange Stark.
For sure.
And I think Ira Ann could be a big-time challenger to Ira Ann. Right. What's next? What's
Last
the final
one?
Yes.
Tepper will eat deep dish pizza in Chicago
this weekend.
So
I'm going up to a wedding this weekend in Chicago. It's going to be great. I'm excited to go up there. I love Chicago. You and I have very different views on deep dish pizza. Not very different. You don't like it.
It's not pizza.
Yeah.
It's tomato pie, and if you like it, you're weird.
Okay. I don't mind it for what it is, but you're exactly right. You have to accept it as something other than pizza.
It's not pizza.
It is deep dish. It's casserole.
It's a
casserole.
Yes.
And I think it's a good casserole, but I don't know if I'd seek it out. So my answer is no.
Oh, you're selling.
I'm selling. I'm not going to...
Even if it's put in front of you.
Even if
because the problem is when you go to Chicago, especially downtown Chicago like you are, You're going to end up in groups, and people will be like, oh, we got to go to Giordano's. Come on.
No.
Come on, we got to go. Everyone, and you'll be outvoted 8-2 in a group.
I think looking at my schedule that I'm going to get fed at the wedding.
With deep dish pizza.
Probably not. And, in fact, I think I'm getting steak. And, it's fancy wedding.
Fancy wedding. Why are they letting you in?
I don't know. Family friend. So, no, I'm going to sell it. And because we're going to brunch on Sunday. Brunch. And I know we're not going to a deep dish pizza place. So, I think I'm going to sell it. I don't think I'm going to have any deep dish pizza. So, that's buyers.
I'm definitely not going to have a deep dish pizza this weekend.
Yeah, I know you're not.